Welcome to the channel and welcome to this 2,000 point game between Tyranids and Black Templars. So over in the deployment zone, I've been running an online campaign called Gehenna Inferno for my deployment zone community, where everyone can take part and feed their results in, and we'll find out what happens in the Gehenna system. It's been glorious. It's been brutal. Planets are dying, heroes are being made, and this battle report is also set in the Gehenna system on the planet Gorgon. Before the Inferno started burning, Gorgon was once a lovely garden world, one of the jewels in the Gehenna system, but now all is in flame, and there is a splinter of High Fleet Kraken running around out of the hills, hitting the settlements, things like that, eating humans, nasty teeth and claws. Up until this point, the main forces of the Imperium are too busy defending Gehenna Prime or Sentinel and attacking the forces of Chaos and all the Necrons that seem to be popping up in the system as well. But a new force has entered the Gehenna system. The Black Templars, the Artorian Crusade, are here. They've landed in the city. They've purged a few of the Xenos bugs. And then the remaining Xenos force, it's only Splinter, has come pouring down out of the hills towards the Black Templars lines. And it is here where the two main forces of the army will clash. So this is the deployment. The Tyranids are on this side. There's only 18 inches apart in the middle, though much further on the flanks. We're playing Storm Their Lines. The way this one works is, Tyranids are on this side, I'm playing Tyranids. These objectives are worth 1 point to me at the end of my turn, and 2 points to me at the end of my turn, and vice versa. 1 point from my opponent, 2 points for my opponent, and you score at the end of your turn. We're trying to storm their lines, we're trying to break each other's backs. Then for the twist, we drew Unrelenting Turmoil. So things got crazy because it says draw 2 twist cards and use both. So everyone's passing morale, which is great for the Black Templars. Tyranids in Synapse range auto pass morale anyway, so it means I don't have to worry about Synapse range. No one is backing down. This is the last stand, or rather, the first stand of the Artorian Crusade upon the planet Gorgon. We could actually call it first stand, actually, because they don't want it. There's lots of Imperial forces who are already fighting all across the Gehenna system, and they don't want their first engagement to go down in ignominy. And the last one is we actually got invigorated, so everyone is going to add 1 to move, and add 1 to advance, and to charge. It means that Gene Stealers are going to go very quickly. But Black Templars also have some pokey rules which allow them to advance further and also allow them to advance and charge further. Basically, they're Space Marines, but they really, really like to get into assault. I mean, Black Templars reroll advances, they reroll charges, and they have a 5-up feel no pain to mortal wounds. And with this, it means that we're going to get into a beat-up. A beat-up? A fight. It's going to get bloody very quickly. So they're coming out of the hills, out of the canyons, red in tooth and claw, down to the Imperial lines. This settlement is, this is all urbanmats.com for these ruins. The battle mat is from urbanmats.com. All the rest of the stuff I made. And we welcome to the channel for the first time, a new challenger, Plant. Say hi, Plant.
Hi, Plant.
I'm calling you Plant because in the Discord, that's your handle, in the deploymentzone.tv Discord.
It is.
Plant. So if I say your real name, no one will know who you are. But you've fought Ergon John, you've fought a couple of people. You're new to the hobby.
I am, yes.
At the end of 8th?
Yeah, so about a year before the start of 9th.
Okay, and then the world closed.
Yeah, so this is going to be my first game inside without a mask on.
Yeah.
To give you an idea.
Yeah, and you've played a couple of times at Big Now. Bristol Independent Gaming, shout out Jim. Absolutely. And Bristol Independent Gaming. If you're in the Bristol area, I think they're moving in September, though. They're moving more central location.
Yeah, so they're moving ever so slightly across.
But check out bristolindependent.co.uk. You're new. See, most people are 40k returners, but you're new. What got you into the hobby?
So I've always been interested in the hobby, so played like Dawn of War and things like that on the computer, but
yeah.
Never really got into the modelling side of things. And then one day my friend just said, would you like to learn? So I said yes, and lo and behold, I now have several thousand points of models, such as the hobby.
How many armies?
Only 2 at the moment.
Only 2.
But I've just started the 3rd one.
Right, in a year and a half.
Yes.
3 armies now, basically.
Yes.
Yes. Black Templars your first love?
Yes, they are.
Black Templars, man. We're waiting for a codex. Black Templars are awesome. So, yes, you need to purge the Xenos, destroy the enemy. Let's go and have a look at these armies. Right, this is just under 2,000 points worth of Tyranids. It's High Fleet Kraken. High Fleet Kraken bio adaptations are you roll 3d6 when advancing, pick the highest, and you can fall back and charge. 3d6 advancing, picking the highest is nice because Broodlords and Genestealers can advance and charge. And also there's a psychic power called Onslaught, which you can put on a Genestealer unit, or no, not just Genestealer unit, any Tyranid unit, which allows them to advance and charge, or allows them to fall back and shoot from combat, things like that. Basically, you can move around and do whatever it is that you want to do. So advancing and charging is a thing with Kraken. Advancing and charging is a thing with Onslaught. Warlord traits and relics. Right, so in the Tyranid book, 1 minute. No, not in the Tyranid book, in the Blood of Baal book, which has got expansions for the high fleets, you can choose not to have a Warlord trait and instead upgrade one of your beasties. So I haven't put a Warlord trait. Instead, I'm going to put Dermic Symbiosis on the Exocrine so he has a 5 invulnerable save, and I've also spent a command point to do that once more on the Acid Spray Tyrannofex to 5 invulnerable save. So Dermic Symbiosis on these 2. Haven't put it on that one because that one should be mainly staying at the back and has got a longer inch range gun, and I think you can only do it once. Once with the Warlord trait and once to pay for it. I don't think you can do it any more than that. And then I've also taken the Resonance Barb from the Blood of Baal book as well for my relic, and put it on the Broodlord, which means the Broodlord can cast 2 powers with a +1 to cast, and he's got Smite and the Lure, Synaptic Lure, which is a Kraken-specific one. And the way that works is a point at a unit, and then any Tyranid unit can reroll charges against that unit, so it's nice. It should help me with some first turn charges, potentially. Mind you, if the Black Templars go first, they could potentially get some first turn charges. It's going to get messy, people. So Broodlord with 15 and 15 Genestealers, with the ability to advance and charge, the ability to move further, the ability to re-roll charges. That sounded like a thing to me. And then I thought I needed to give some real meat for the Templars to get stuck into. Why have they come to Gorgon in particular? Why have they decided to take on the Tyranids as their first action in the Gehenna System? Well, they've heard about this monster called the Swarm Lord, or Kevin in my army, rampaging around, destroying settlement after settlement on this garden world, and this is where they've chosen to make their stand. This is where they've drawn a line and say, you shall not go further. You shall not pass. So they're going to come and take on Kevin and try and take him out and make a mark, make a glorious first name for them in the Gehenna System. I've given him Onslaught and the Horror. We'll talk about them when they kick off. He's got a 4-up invulnerable save and a 3-up invulnerable save in close combat. He's 240 points. He's an absolute beast. But he's only got 12 wounds. So he can die to a swift las cannon to the face or 2. He also has an ability, just like the Broodlords and the Genestealers can advance and charge. He's got an ability in the shooting phase. You can point at a unit and that unit can move again. So these guys potentially could advance and charge, and then you do the psychic phase, and then you can point at a unit, and then they can move again, advance and charge again in the shooting phase. Or move, I keep saying advance and charge. Move, advance and charge. Is something that you can do with him. And he's also got Onslaught, which is that psychic power I talked about. Long story short, when the game kicks off, there's some movement shenanigans going on here to make Kraken even faster. Then my third Synapse creature is the Neurothrope. Now, we don't really need to worry about Synapse right now because all Tyranid monsters are fearless so long as they're in range of Synapse. And in this game, we've drawn the last stand twist, so everyone's fearless anyway. I've given him Catalyst, and he's got Smite. Catalyst with the big bug is that my 5-up Feel No Pain Shrug. He should be hanging around at the back, giving out a 5-up Feel No Pain to something. Then Little Bugs for light snacking. Then we have some shooting stuff. The Acid Spray Tyrannofex, the Rupture Cannon Tyrannofex, the Exocrine. There's my guns, along with a unit of Hive Guard. So these 5 models fire twice. They fire 10 shots at a time. And there's a strat that you can put on them that allows them to fire again. And they don't need line of sight. These impaler cannons, the things that they fire, they're like the tips of javelins, in the Olympics. These javelins you throw. Imagine them with wings, with rockets out the back that fly around corners and thump into you. And as soon as it thumps into you, it injects this explosive gel, which means you explode from the inside out.
That sounds lovely, actually.
Yeah. Strength 8, -2, D3 damage, flying around corners, explosive javelin bugs. I love Tyranids. And then we have some venom thropes. So long as I got 3 of them, any Tyranid unit within 6 inches is -1 to hit. If there's less than 3 of them, then it'll only work on the little things, the stuff without the monster keyword. And they're really expensive to buy. I'd like more of them. There's another one from Forge World. I think it's called the Malicept. No, I forget what it's called. That's the one, and it's a character, so it can't be targeted, and you can leave it at the back, and it can do its thing. But it's Forge World, and I've got so many other projects on the go. Maybe I'll end up getting that one at some point. And when I went to the recent deployment zone the day up at Bilpa, people brought them and the big guy, the one...
Dimericon.
No, he turned up, the Dimericon was there, but the Haradul, the barbed Haradul. The rules for the barbed Haradul now is crazy good, because it's got 8 shots with one gun, 8 shots with the other gun. Put Catalyst on him, it's just... I need to buy some Forge World is what I'm saying. But I'm holding out for the new Tyranids Codex for 9th edition with a prayer that we might get some models that are not Space Marines. With a prayer that there might be some big bugs for us big bug players to play with and for people to kill the big bugs because people like killing bugs. It's a bug hunt. If there aren't any new juicy models in the Tyranid Codex, then I'm going to be splurging a lot of money on Forge World stuff. Because I do want a Democarian, I do want a Haradul, I do want a Maliceptor. Internet, stop telling me to get these things. I know about all these things. I want all these things. There's other projects. I'm hoping for the thing. It will be fine. Everything's fine. Let's go and have a look at the Black Templars. And here we have the Black Templars continuing with their long crusade to destroy all the enemies of the Imperium, even 10,000 years after he was encased on his golden throne. Followers of Sigismund himself, just less under 2,000 points. So it gives you 12 command points. You've spent 2 already. Remind us what Black Templars do again.
So their chapter tactic is Zealous Crusaders.
Yes.
So they can reroll advances and reroll charges. In addition to that, they also have a 5-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds.
And that will come in handy. What happens when the Assault Doctrine's in effect?
So when the Assault Doctrine's in effect, they have a rule called Knights of Sigismund,
Yes.
which means that when they charge, any 6s to hit automatically wound the target if it's not a vehicle.
And I don't have any vehicles, so you're good. What about when you get charged?
So it doesn't kick in when we get charged, but obviously Shock Assault and things like that will still apply.
Okay. So it's when you charge, 6s to hit, auto wound. There's some stones falling on the floor. Would you like to talk us through your glorious army set?
Certainly. So heading up the army is my Marshal. So this is Marshal Bastion. He's a Space Marine Primaris captain with Relic Shield and Mastercrafted Power Sword. Nice. As the Warlord, he's taken the Warlord trait Frontline Commander because realistically there is no other Warlord trait for a Black Templar commander.
Right.
What that allows him to do is any core units within 6 inches of him get +1 to advance, +1 to charge.
And you already have reroll advances and reroll charges.
Indeed.
Cool.
And with the mission we're playing, that's going to be some seriously long.
We've got a +1 to advance and charge and move. So he's getting +2 to advances and +2 to charges.
Yes.
Glorious stuff because of the twist. Relic?
Relic is the Crusader's Helm.
Right.
So what that does is it boosts all of his auras out by another 3 inches.
Okay.
So Rats of Battle, etc. all go out to 9 inches.
So re-rolling hit rolls of 1 to 9 inches, and in this mission, +2 to advance and charges within 9 inches for core units.
And it also allows him to point at a unit within 6 inches.
Yes.
And he can put them in the Assault Doctrine early.
Okay, because we have Devastator, Tactical Assault Doctrine. There's no ways of messing with that like some other Space Marine chapters can. Only he can point at a unit and say, you're an assault.
Exactly.
So 6s to hit, auto wound.
Yes.
Nice. Okay. I like it. Next.
Moving on from there, we've got Master of Sanctity Shan.
Yes.
So Primaris Chaplain on a bike that I've upgraded to the Master of Sanctity.
Yep.
I've given him a Warlord trait, which is Wise Orator.
Yes.
Because it's too good really not to take.
Yes.
In addition to that, I've also paid the CP to give him another relic, which is the Ancient Breviary.
Okay.
And what that does is basically it's his big book on the front, and it allows him to roll 2d6 for chanting his litanies.
Okay, so he's upgraded, so his litanies normally go off on a 2 up anyway.
Yep.
And now you're rolling 2 dice.
Yep.
And discarding one of them.
Yep.
So his litanies are always going off.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he can do 2 litanies. He knows 3 litany of hate plus 2 more, and he knows 3.
Yeah. So the two extra ones he know are the Black Templar specific ones.
Okay.
So he's got the Litany of Divine Protection.
Okay.
Which allows him to point at a unit, and I think it's within 6, and he gives them a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Okay.
And he's also got the Psalm of Remorseless Persecution.
Right.
Which, when that goes off, any unit within 6 inches of him, reroll 1s to wound in melee.
All right. So he's got like a lieutenant ability, reroll 1s to wound.
Yep.
Your 5-up Feel No Pain to mortal wounds can become a 5-up Feel No Pain.
Yep.
He's doing them on 2s.
Yep.
And he can't be stopped because it's not a psychic power.
Exactly.
So it's like, because you don't like librarians very much.
Not really.
So you kind of brought along someone who kind of is, but kind of isn't a librarian that can't be stopped.
He fulfills the same sort of role, yeah.
Yes. I love it.
And then moving on to the right there.
Yes.
I'd be remiss to bring Black Templars and not bring the Emperor's Champion.
So this is your Emperor's Champion.
This is my Emperor's Champion.
Absolute boss in close combat against characters.
Exactly.
I think Kevin can have him.
I think he probably could, but I think he'd give Kevin a run for his money.
Yeah, they're nasty. I think they reroll all hits and all wounds versus characters.
Yes, and monsters.
And monsters. I have a few of them.
In fact, so all hits versus characters and all wounds versus characters and monsters.
Okay, Kevin is a character and a monster.
So he's very much rerolling all those wounds.
Nice. We have a Judaseer.
We do indeed.
Who's the chaplain's he's protege. Cool.
So he's here to learn a few things from the big man.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, I've also brought along a standard apothecary.
Okay. So no upgrades on the apothecary?
No. So just standard 6-up Feel No Pain aura thing.
Okay.
Moving on from there,
yes,
onto the troops.
Yes.
I've got a unit of 5-man assault intercessors.
Okay.
Bare bones, chainsword on the sergeant.
Yes.
In addition to that, I've also got a 5-man unit of standard intercessors.
I like the way that the sergeant's got a black shoulder pad. That's cool.
Yeah, so
mark them out.
What tends to happen is the Sword Brethren are a part, the sort of a command echelon of the Black Templars.
Yeah.
And they're sort of in liege to the Marshal.
Okay.
So it's his trusted. It's kind of like his inner circle, effectively.
Okay.
So,
inner circle, but without all the secrets.
Without all the secrets, exactly.
Nice.
So he kind of distributes out. So it's a lot of the veterans and things like that. So each squad has got a sword brother in it. To keep everyone in line.
Brother Artres, you're in charge of these young pups now.
Exactly.
And they always talk like that in all the audio books.
Exactly.
Gargling gravel. We've got a bit of in the middle. This is a what now?
This is a Crusader squad.
Crusader squad. So it should be tactical marines with scouts, but this looks cooler.
Yeah, pretty much. So this is a 12-man Crusader squad.
Yes.
That I've modelled using the Primaris assault intercessors.
Yes.
And then I've scattered in some Reavers as well, because this is probably the best use for Reavers that I can think of.
So the Reavers in this are...
they are
the scout
neophytes.
Neophytes. So the Reavers are the neophytes.
They're all 4-up save.
Yes, yes.
And then the assault intercessors are initiates.
Yes.
In this. So standard Space Marine, Tactical Marine stat line.
Hey, it's your 40k. Play 40k your way. You like the models. You like the stuff. You've got Reavers in it instead of the old school stuff. It looks glorious. It's good.
Thank you. The Sword Brother in that squad has a Combi Melter and a Thunderhammer.
Well,
just for a bit of anti-tank punch.
Nice.
Also, as a firstborn unit, they get access to the Melter Bomb strat.
Yes. Also, as a firstborn unit, you can stick them all in a Land Raider Crusader.
Exactly.
With all the guns.
Precisely. I would not consider myself a Black Templars player if I didn't own and bring not only an Emperor's Champion, but also a Land Raider Crusader.
A Land Raider Crusader was released for the Black Templars back in 3rd edition. I remember when it comes out. My Crusader is still the old one with the metal assault launchers and the metal guns.
I've got one of those at home, actually.
Have you? It's really heavy.
It is really heavy. I'm very glad that I've upgraded it to a plastic one now.
Cool. And you got a multi-melter on it and everything.
Multi-melter on
and
it.
The assault launchers actually work now. It's quite cool.
They do. They've got some really cool rules for that.
Yeah. So they can all squeeze inside of that. We have an impulsor.
We do.
And I suspect that's for the Blade Guard.
It is indeed.
Okay.
So 3-man squad of Blade Guard and their Sweet Ride, which is the impulsor.
Yes.
So that's basically a bare bones impulsor, but I've taken the shield dome upgrade.
Shield dome's too good not
because
to
it's too good not to take, especially when you're transporting nearly 200 points worth of elites.
Yeah. Well, also it's a 5-up invulnerable save. It's close combat as well. It's a flat 5-up, so you're ignoring a third of all damage coming in. Don't take the guns, guys. Take these. It sticks around for longer. It's good for move blocking. It's not that expensive for what it does. Don't talk about Dark Elder, but the Raiders went up in points.
This is still more expensive than a radar.
Well, when the Raiders came out originally, they were the same cost as a Rhino for something that had 1 less toughness, but the same number of wounds with a fly keyword with an invulnerable save. What the fluff! It was open topped and you could shoot out of it.
They look really cool though.
They do look cool, but at least they went up to 100 points now. I think it's 100, and it's still not enough.
Something around that.
Should be, Redemptor Dreadnought. With the plasma.
Exactly. This is Brother Davion in the back. So he's got the macro plasma incinerator, which is really nice because obviously with the Black Templars chapter tactic, when I overcharge, I can potentially mitigate any mortal wounds that come onto himself.
Because you ignore mortal wounds and 5-up. You like the pain.
And then he's also got the underslung onslaught Gatling cannon and Icarus rocket pod on the top.
Nice.
Gladiator Valiant.
The right one.
The right one.
It's 8 anti-tank shots. 2 multi-melters, so that's 4 shots. Twin Las Talon, 4 shots. The only downside is range. It's 24-inch range.
Yes.
It's got a lot of big guns, but not a lot of range. But let's face it, your army isn't taking a step backwards.
Oh no, this is go forward. No pity, no remorse, no fear.
Yeah.
Take the fight to the enemy.
And Invictus Warsuit. I really like these guys. Have you got another one?
I do have another one. It's currently unbuilt, but I just like the tactics that these guys kind of provide for me. Just being able to kind of hold up an army or get off a turn 1 charge. Yeah. Especially with the Flamer as well. It's just great fun.
They die quick.
They do.
But they're such a roadblock. 13 wounds, toughness 6, 3-up save for less than 150 points, I think, just right in front of the enemy. And they're quick as well. They're surprisingly quick. I think they move 10.
I don't know what's happened with the driver in that, but for some reason, every game I've played, he's exploded.
Has he?
He has.
Doing the Templar thing. He's in the middle of the pile in the swarm. I press that big red shiny button now. Cool. So we have Black Templars. Your chapter's called again?
The Artorian Crusade.
The Artorian Crusade have made it to the Gehenna System, which is on fire. And their first action is to destroy the splinter of High Fleet Kraken on Gorgon. Yes, we're doing Gorgon. That's where they are. Let's go to deployment. And we're deployed with this 2,000 point game of Storm Their Lines. The Tyranids will not back down, and neither will the Black Templars. Everyone on this battle grid is fearless. We're not taking morale tests. Everyone getting a +1 to advance, move, and charge. It's going to get messy very, very quickly. There is a unit of intercessors in that ruin there next to that objective, and there's the Dreadnought, and there's the Warsuit, which can deploy a bit further forward. And I believe you put the Warsuit over here because I put Kevin down here. I thought I would sneak him and get all sneaky. There's an objective here and an objective here in your ruins. There is your captain. What's his name again?
Bastion.
Bastion is there with his apothecary, and the Blade Guard are inside the Impulsor with the Judicia.
Yes.
And then that's the big swarm of dudes in there with the Emperor's Champion.
Yes.
Nothing in reserve here. The Gladiator's been hugging to the foot of the hills and perhaps spotted the Tyranid advance sooner, first of all, and then called his brethren to him. I have my Neurothrope here, and this is my aura of -1 to hit this lot. Hive Guard hiding. This one on this objective, and then all the way down here, this is the Gene Stealer push, ready to go forward and die heroically, but hopefully slow the Black Templars down. I don't know why these are on the flank. Oh yes, I remember why I put them here now, because there's going to be nothing on that objective soon. So they need to move that way. So I've got some big beasties that are going to go through the ruins. The rest is going to go across these open fields. Of course, it's going to be -1 to hit if anyone is shooting through all these trees here. And ruins completely block line of sight, but we're saying that you can shoot through the gaps. That will, unless you're entirely in it. Are we good?
We're good.
We're good. Shall we roll the dice to find out who's going first?
Let's go for it.
Do you want first turn?
I think I do.
Or do you want me closer to your lines, first of all?
I think I want first turn, just to spool up the Crusader.
Okay. So, good luck. You got a 3. See, the thing is about open war is you can choose.
Right.
It's not match play. You can still choose. Match play, you have to go first if you win. So I've won. I need to think now, because yes, you've got guns, and these are, but and then I can jump on. 1 minute. So I chose first turn. Here we are after the Tyranids movement phase in turn 1, and I did a thing, Plant.
You did.
I didn't come straight at you. I am being cunning as well as brutal. This is a lot of open terrain, and that's a lot of guns. And potentially what I could do, if I boosted the Gene Stealers forward a long way, is connect with a couple of first turn charges, and then I'll lose all my Gene Stealers and all my Broodlords in turn 1. It would mean that you're back there in turn 1, but they're dead straight away. I need to whittle you down a bit first. So I chose instead to shift the Broodlords and Gene Stealers around this way. Remember rolling 3d6 for my advance, picking the highest. And I spent a CP, I think it's called Opportunistic Advance, where you could double the advance roll on this unit here. So a massive shift round this way. And let's not forget, Swarm Lord advanced as well, but let's not forget that he could potentially move again, or tell another unit to move again, and then they could go flying in. But there is a big nasty flamer on that thing. So we were shifted round this way. Then we mainly stood still along the back. There was a bit of shifting going on. I've got a lot of trees for cover here, but they can fire around corners. So that makes it interesting. They will still suffer the -1 to hit penalty. Their rule is, I don't need line of sight,
right,
and you don't get light cover. But if you draw a line between them and that, for example, it clearly goes through some trees. So the javelins might get snagged by the trees. We need to do some psychic powers. I have put the Haruspecs front and center for you because, well, otherwise you need to deal with it. So let's put Catalyst on the Haruspecs. I need a 6. And that passes. That means it's got a 5-up feel no pain right now. And then we're going to come across to here. He's going to try and put the horror on your Dreadnought. So it'll be -1 for your Dreadnought to hit. I need a 6. And that fails. I'm not going to re-roll that. Am I going to re-roll that? No, because I might perils on the next one, which is Onslaught. And he's going to pick himself. I need a 6. And that passes. And that means he can advance and charge. And he already advanced.
I'm going to pop a strat here.
Okay.
So for 1 CP, I'm going to Abhor the Witch.
Abhor my witchiness. On a 4-up, you deny that power. You don't deny the power. Cool, so we're now onto the shooting phase. So with the Hive Commander ability, Kevin is going to tell himself to move again. And because I've got Onslaught, it's good. So let's advance. He moves 9, plus 5 is 15. I am going through a crater. It will be a 13-inch move. I was thinking about throwing myself into your war suit, but now I might go straight for the Dreadnought. Oh, he's hungry for blood, rampaging up and around. I think your Dreadnought could be in trouble. Only a 4-inch charge there, or 5-inch or something. Anyway, spending a CP in the shooting phase for not acid spray, pathogenic slime on my acid spray Tyrannifex, and it's going to spray on your war suit. The idea here is kill that, and on one on objective. Yes, your objective secured because there's some Templars down here, but then that gives you some serious problems.
Yes.
Your Warlord is there and some stuff is there, and you've got a 240 point, which used to be a Lord of War in your lines. So, acid spray, 2d6 shots, auto hitting. That's 10. I'm currently strength 7, toughness 6 on the suit, so it is 3s to wound. That's really bad. And it is AP -1, but +1 damage to this. So 5 4-up saves on the suit, sir.
4-ups.
And you make 2 of them. 3 of them.
3 of them.
So it's D3 plus 1 because of the pathogenic slime.
Sure.
So that is 2 damage, 3 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 damage in total. 5 damage in total. Then the Stinger Salvo hits 3 times. It's strength 5. It doesn't wound. He's down to 8 wounds left. That could have been better, but I have a Rupture Cannon from the other T-Fex, which can see him. And I don't want both of these charging my Swarm Lord. So the Rupture Cannon fires twice because I stood still. Forced to hit. I miss every time. What the... That wasn't good.
That wasn't great.
If I CP this, I've got to get through, and then it's a 3 to wound, then it's D6 damage. It knocks down your... You always have the base number of attacks, don't you?
Yeah, so he's always got 4 base.
It's just a weapon skill and ballistic skill thing.
And he's got a flamer anyway.
He's got a flamer. Yeah. So now I'm thinking the Swarmlord could charge the War Suit and then take the counter charge from the Dread after you light him up. I think that's probably the safest option over here because there isn't a lot of stuff. Okay, so I can't kill it with a reroll, so I'm not going to CP reroll that. Let's do the Exocrine. The only thing in line of sight and range of the Exocrine is the Impulsor. So let's fire everything at the Impulsor. 3s to hit. 4s to wound. I get some wounds through. 4 wounds, 4 5-up invulnerable saves on your Impulsor. And each of these does 2 damage, so that's 4 wounds off the Impulsor. And now we come across to the Hive Guard. They're the last thing left to shoot. The only thing that they have range to is the Gladiator 36-inch range. This is not the way to do it, by the way. Splitting your firepower across multiple different units. You should prosecute 1 and kill 1.
Fire always works.
Well, I'm not splitting fire. I'm trying to kill something. It's just not happening yet. Forced to hit the Gladiator. And I hit 4 times. I'm going to burn these white dice if they don't turn around after a turn or 2. Strength 8 versus Toughness 8. I wound 3 times at -2. So 3 5-up saves.
5-up saves.
And it's D3 a time. So that is 4 damage. It's down to 8 wounds left. Let's rearm, reload, single-minded annihilation, 2 CP spent. Let's fire again on 4s. And 4s. Nothing. Nothing! And that's the end of the Tyranids shooting phase. It's the burrowing harpoons didn't do it there. Haven't bracketed the Gladiator. Haven't bracketed the Impulsor. Haven't bracketed the Warsuit. I guess I'm going to charge, and he's got a nasty flamer, but let's charge. I charge the Dread. Charge the woman. 1 minute. I'm going to charge the Warsuit because that allows me to stay around this bit of cover a little bit, and I can't score that at the end of my turn because you've got some dudes next to it. So I'm charging the Warsuit. Would you like to barbecue a bug, sir?
Of course.
2d6 shots with the Incendium Cannon for 4 shots. Aha! It happens to both of us. Auto wounding on 5s as you light him up. And that's 2 wounds. -1. -2 because of Devastator Doctrine, but I do make a 4-up invulnerable save. So Swarmy takes a wound. Kevin's down to 11 left.
Heavy bolter.
Heavy bolter.
Nothing.
So Kevin's on fire. The rest of the shots bounce. He's got 11 wounds remaining. He makes the charge. I'm spending a CP on Voracious Appetite so he can reroll wound rolls. And he hits on 2s with 6 attacks, and 5 of them hit. I'm strength 8, a toughness 6. I'm wounding on 3s, but re-rolling because of Voracious Appetite. And thank heavens I spent that CP. And that is 5 wounds at -3, 3 damage a time. You need to make 5 6s to try and keep this Warsuit alive.
Coming right up.
Negative. Dead Warsuit. Does it go kaboom?
He normally does. Oh.
He doesn't go kaboom. And that is the end of turn 1, and that's an awesome shot. Kevin stands there in this ruin, and that's the end of turn 1, and that's an awesome shot. Kevin wipes out the Warsuit, stands in the ruined city streets, yelling a challenge to the Redemptor Dreadnought. At least I killed something. I've got 3 points for holding on to these objectives as the swarm begins to get sneaky and cut through the ruins at the edge, and then bound across the wasteland towards the Black Templars' lines. Most of their guns are short range, however, so let's find out what they can do in turn 1. And here we are after the movement phase for the Artorian Crusade. They have leapt into battle. We have vehicles moving forward up the center, up the gut, still making sure that they're scoring that objective there, and the Apothecary scoring this objective here, and the Intercessors are scoring this objective here. And then lots of shenanigans happened. They've taken the bait, and now I'm thinking I'm probably in trouble, because would you like to talk us through some of the buffs and some of the things you're able to do here?
Sure.
The chaplain did something.
Chaplain has done Litany of Hate and Psalm of Remorseless Persecution.
Right.
So everything's going to be re-rolling all hits in melee and re-rolling once to wound in melee.
Okay. And then the captain, your shield captain, who is in here. What's brother captain's name again?
Bastion.
Bastion. He pointed at the intercessors that are next to him.
Yes.
And said, you can advance and charge.
Yes, so I paid a stratagem called the Emperor's Will, which allows me to advance, fire my pistols and charge.
Right.
And he's also, the captain's pointed at that intercessor unit and he's put them in the Assault Doctrine for this turn.
Nice. So Black Templars Assault Doctrine means 6s to hit, auto wound.
Correct.
So they came running through this way, plus with the bonuses to advance and charge, you didn't really worry about the crater very much at all.
It was like being a gene stealer.
Rerolling hits. Rerolling wound rolls of 1. They're advancing and charging. The Impulsor came through this gap in the ruins here and deposited the Judicia and the Blade Guard vets on this side. Now, when you get out of an Impulsor, you cannot charge.
Correct.
You can get out after it moved, but you can't charge. But
Black Templars have a stratagem called Devout Push. What happens is at the start of the fight phase, I can pick a unit, and even if it's not in combat, it can then pile in.
Okay. So, though they got out, they could pile in 3 inches and hit the Swarm Lord as well. It won't count as a charge for Shock Assault, but essentially what we're looking at here is they're going to be in close combat. The Chaplain potentially could be in close combat. The Assault Intercessors could be in close combat. And the Dreadnought, well, it's going to be easy for the Dreadnought to get into close combat. Did I overextend myself? Will this be enough to break the nugget that is the Swarm Lord? Well, let's go on to... There's no Psychic phase for the Black Templars because they abhor the Witch. So let's go on to the shooting phase and find out how much of the nugget they can skin off before they actually go flying in there. Skin off a nugget, does that work?
Nuggets have skin, don't they? It's bread skin.
It's a nugget.
Comment below.
So we're opening up with the first engagement of the Black Templars in the open field below the ruined encampment. We have an Icarus rocket pod hitting the Exocrine, and all the other guns from the Gladiator is coming into the Harrowspecs. What are we starting with?
We'll start with everything into the Harrowspecs.
Okay,
that's right there. So 4 Las Talons.
Yes.
On 3s.
Every single shot slams true. Strength 9, toughness 8, wounding on 3s. That's all wounding. I need to make a bunch of 5 up and vulnerable saves. No, actually, that one is the one without an invulnerable save. It's got Catalyst on. So how much damage do you do?
46.
46 damage. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Okay, before even the multi-melters need to speak, 16 5-up Catalyst saves. I make 3 of them. 13 get through. It's got 13 wounds. It's dead and doesn't death throw. Overwhelming firepower there destroys the Harrowspecs. Now we're onto the Crusader. The multi-melter is coming into the Tranifex, and all the other guns are just in range of the Gene Stealers. Starting off with the multi-melter hitting on 3s. And one of them hits strength 8, toughness 8. And it doesn't wound. And now we've got a bajillion shots.
I need to find some dice.
Coming in to Gene Stealers. The assault cannon hits on 3s. And it wounds on 3s. And that's 6 wounds? 6 wounds. 5 of them vulnerable saves. I make 4 of them, only 2 die, but now we have 12 more shots with the Hurricane Bolters coming in. 3s and 4s. 3 more saves. I saved 2 more. So I only lose 3 of the Gene Stealers there. Now we're coming down to the ruined encampment. The Dreadnought is firing everything into the Swarm Lord. Did you just say that you're overcharging the plasma?
Of course.
It's craziness. Mind you, I suppose you're re-rolling hit rolls of 1 with your captain there.
Extreme prejudice.
Extreme prejudice. Starting off with the what now?
Macroplasma Incinerator.
It's the yeah, that one.
D6 shots.
Yes. 6 shots. 3s to hit. You don't need the re-roll. This is strength gazillion. You're wounding on 3s. And that is 5 wounds. AP minus gazillion. I have a 4 up and vulnerable save. Hang in there, Kevin. I fail. How much damage does it do?
I have to check.
I think it's 3 now.
3, yeah.
3 damage now, so I have to spend a CP. It helps me. 6 damage, but he's only on 5. In the Redemptive Fist, there is an Onslaught Gatling Cannon, and that will hit on 3s. And I like that 6. You managed to get it on a piece of terrain. That's never happened before. But I am toughness 7, so it will be 5s to wound. And this will involve invulnerable saves again, because the Devastator Doctrine is in effect. And he takes another wound. Kevin's down to 4 left. Rocket Pod, D3 shots. 3 shots, hitting on 3s. And wounding on 4s. It's strength 7. Yes. 1 wound. And make the save. Storm Bolters, lots of shots. 3s, reroll on the 1s. Anti-infantry weapon here, so 5s to wound. Nothing. So the Redemptor weakens him, gets him down to 4 left. We have the Intercessors that advanced and can shoot with bolt weaponry, which are AP -1.
2 now.
AP -2 because of the thing.
Because of the Assault Doctrine.
That's the one.
So
3s to hit.
5 pistol shots.
5s to wound though. And it's still force and vulnerable saves. They get 1 through. A cheeky shot hits Kevin in the face and he dodges the blow. Then we have characters in the Blade Guard. So what we're going to do is grenade, and the Blade Guard. Let's do the 2 grenades at the same time, even though one's from the character, one's from the thing. So
both on 3s.
Yes. 1 hit, strength 6, toughness 7. No. And then the Blade Guard with the heavy bolt pistols. 2 hits, 5s to wound. It will force invulnerable saves, which I fail. He's down to 3 remaining. Then the Chaplain on the bike. 3s to hit and 5s to wound. He manages to score a wound, which I don't save. Kevin is down to 2 wounds left. I think that's the end of all the shots coming in through this way. So now we're going to have... Oh, yeah, you've got some intercessors in the building. They can see him. And they're rapid firing, so 10 shots. Daka, daka, daka. And 5s to wound. Will Kevin die by death by firing squad? Even before you... No, he won't. I was going to say even before you get to punch him. He's got 2 wounds remaining. That's the end of the shooting phase. I've lost a Harrow specs. We've got some charges coming on over here. I think everything's charging. I don't get any Overwatch. Let's roll some dice and find out where they are at the start of the fight phase. So here we are after the charge phase. The Captain can't charge and the Judicar can't charge. But the Assault Intercessors, the Dreadnought, the Chaplain has made the charge. And you're spending a CP on...
Devout Push.
Devout Push, which means at the start of the fight phase, you can select a unit and it can move 3 inches.
Yes.
So you can move even into engagement range.
So
the Blade Guard, even though they got out the Impulsor, they're going to come in as well. Kevin is in trouble. And it looks like this, and wait, it gets worse. The Judicar says, points at an enemy unit within 3 inches at the start of the fight phase and says, you can't fight until all eligible units have been chosen. So he's got this time thing, isn't it? It's an hourglass. And it's
Temper Mortis.
Yeah, Temper Mortis beam hits Kevin and he's moving in slow motion. And the Redemptor lifts his fist and hits on 3s. And he hits 3 times.
Rerolls everything for the Chaplain.
Oh yes, the Chaplain's got the litany off. He hits 4 times. And you're going to be wounded on your strength. 14. Toughness 7. Wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s because of the Chaplain, because you're a core unit. He wounds all the times. And it's D3 plus 3 damage. Yes. It will kill Kevin unless I make up a 3-up invulnerable save. He's got bone parry. In close combat, he parries blows on a 3. And he parries them all from the Dreadnought. Hang in there, Kevin. The Assault Intercessors come piling in. With 21 attacks, they're hitting on 3s. And they're re-rolling all hits. And you need it.
I do.
That worked. Okay, so the 6s are auto-wounding because it's the Assault Doctrine and you're a Black Templar. These are going to wound on 5s, re-rolling 1s. And it's AP -2 because the Assault Doctrine is in effect for this unit. And I've got 10 3-up invulnerable saves to make. And he's got 2 wounds left. And he dies. He has Death Rose on a 6. He hurts. D3 mortal wounds to units around him. But I want to spend 2 CP on Death Frenzy, so when he is slain, then he gets to fight again. But Death Throes is when a model is reduced to 0 wounds before removing the model. So I think the Death Throes happens first, and then the thing happens. So the Blade Guard vets will take D3 mortal wounds. And that's... Oh, and you ignore wood of wounds on a 5 because you're a Black Templar.
So...
And it helps you because they have 3 wounds each.
They do.
The Judicar. He takes 2. See some 5s. There's a 5 in there. The Assault Intercessors. They take 2. Let's see some 5s. There's another 5. And your Chaplain, he takes 3. Can your Chaplain shrug some blows? Yes, he can. He can shrug 1 as well. Does this work on the Dreadnought?
It does.
It does work on the Dreadnought. The Dreadnought takes 1.
He doesn't shrug.
Right, now, before I remove him, I've got to fight him. He counts as on his lowest bracket before I remove him. I could hit the Dread. I could hit the Assault. But the Blade Guard, I've got a lot of invulnerable save. And I feel like at the damage 3 weapon, I've got the most chance of hurting the Blade Guard. So let's hit the Blade Guard. Let's spend another CP on Voracious Epicite so I can reroll wounds. His tail will go into the Intercessors because it's AP dash. So he hits on 2s. I hit 3 times. That's enough. I'm going to wound you on 3s and I reroll wounds. And for every invulnerable save you fail, that's 3 damage. Cool. So you need to make all your 4s on the Blade Guard. Coming up.
What could go wrong?
You make 2 of them. Command point? No?
No.
No?
I'll wear it. 2
Blade Guard get cut down, then his tail lashes out and it hits. And I think I need to reroll that. And wounds one of the Intercessors. And he's fine. And the monster that the Templars have been sent to slay has been slain. So essentially it's mopping up now for the Black Templars as they still need to storm the lines of the Tyranids. It's 3 points each. They are right in front of some Gene Stealers and Broodlords. I've only got 3 CP. That'll go up to 4 CP at the start of turn 2 because I burned a lot. But all of these fighting vehicles are still very combat effective. Let's find out how this splinter of Hive Fleet Kraken respond in turn 2. Here we are after the Tyranids movement phase. The Templars have poked the Hornet's nest, and so the Gene Stealers and the Broodlord are rampaging down towards their lines. The Tyrannofex staying still because it can fire twice if it stays still. I hope for all this not to be there, which will then give you some interesting choices. The Templars could either continue to punish forward. Let's face it, my lines along here are relatively weak in close combat, but I have got a lot of bodies that I can put in the way if they decide to keep coming this way, or they could shift round there. It depends whether I'm able to collapse this front or not. We're double teaming on this objective. The Neurothrope hopped over this way, and that's about it down here. So we're starting off the Psychic phase by throwing Catalyst on the Exocrine, and that passes. So it's got a 5-up shrug as well as a 5-up invulnerable save. The Tyrannofex right now is -1 to hit because of the Venom Thropes all the way over there. Then we're going to come across to the Broodlord. I'm going to put Synaptic Lure on something, but I don't know what yet because I'm in a crater. So I could actually be slowed down when I go charging in. No. Yes. No. 1 minute. Let's stick it on the Chaplain. Would you like to try and deny? I need a 5 to pass it. I've passed it. So I'm going to re-roll. Everything here is going to re-roll charges against the Chaplain. The idea is in the shooting phase, some of the units in front won't be there. Oh, you're going to deny?
I will deny.
Deny. Abhor the Witch.
Abhor the Witch.
You don't abhor the Witch again. So the Templars cannot refuse the psychic might of the... So the Templars have not been able to stop the psychic might of the Tyranids. Next up, I've got Smite. So I might as well Smite. And that passes. And that does D3 mortal wounds. For 3 mortal wounds, which will go on your... on your Blade Guard vet.
5 ups.
Ooh! Mind Bullets took down the last Blade Guard veteran, mind you. He did have a psychic backlash from the Swarmlord as well, and he turned around and punched them. So maybe he was injured. Maybe he was down on 1 knee when that came through. We're going to open up the shooting phase. The Exocrine moved, but I've spent a CP on Symbiotic Devastation, so it counts as stationary. And I want to clear away the unit of Intercessors to get to the soft meat behind. And hopefully this time I don't whiff. On 3s. And 3s to wound. And they're AP -3 to damage. So 6s to save the assault intercessors. And 2 of them dodge the blows. Then from the Exocrine to the Tyrannofex, I fired the Stinger Salvo into the Crusader doing no damage, but the Rupture Cannon can draw bead through the street straight into the Redemptor. So let's fire at the Ancient Brother on 4s. Only 2 hits. I'm strength 10 and 0 wounds. Let's command point one of these this time. It does wound. You need to make a 6. You don't make a 6. This is D6 damage. He's already been tickled once. And now he takes 3 more wounds. Which, of course, is only 2 wounds with Duty Eternal. He's down to 10 wounds remaining. Now the Hive Guard will fire around corners one more time and try and take out that Gladiator. They will hit on 4s. And wound on 4s. And that's only 1 wound. 1/5 up save. And you make the save. Then we came over here and I remembered a rule. And the rule is I can't target characters while there's infantry units 3 or more in front. And there's 2 there. Or if a character is next to something with the wounds of high wounds, but he's not. From this angle, double checking, the Chaplain is closer to the Tyrannofex than the Dreadnought. So it would be rude not to bathe your Chaplain. What's his name?
Shan.
Chaplain Shan is going to get hit by a lot of acid. The Stinger Salvo is going to go into the Crusaders down here. And the Stinger Salvo will hit on 4s and wound on 3s. 1 wound at -1. So one takes an injury, a Stinger Salvo. That was on him.
So that was on him.
Stinger Salvo on them. And then the 2d6 shots into your Chaplain, which is 4d6, because it stays still. So this is a lot of acid. 11 hits. Strength 7 versus toughness 5. I'm wounding on 3s. That is 9 wounds at AP -1. 9 4-up saves. So no CP sent. 5 get through at D3 a time. He's got 5 wounds left. The acid just cooks him. Which means I got rid of the problem, which is the Blade Guard vets. I haven't got rid of the problem, which is a Dreadnought. So, and he's really, really punchy. I've got 2 CP. I could fire the Hive Guard again. But I'm thinking I might need those CP for defensive things. Or the Voracious Appetite. Or... No, I'm just going to move straight from the shooting phase into the charge phase. We're going to charge. Then at the end of the charge phase, it looks like this. Both units of Gene Stealers are within range of the Broodlord because he buffs them. And I got a good charge with the Gene Stealers, which means now I've got 6 or 7 infantry models within range of that objective. So I outscore the Black Templars. And I've taken that objective from them. However, the Judicia, he heroically intervened, so he's in on this squad, and you've told that squad to fight last.
Yes.
So these aren't fighting, so your assault intercessors might survive. I didn't want to go too far forward with them, because as well as the heroic intervention from the Judicia, you also have your captain behind that wall, and he could have heroically intervened as well. Yeah. And then a double heroic intervention would have been bad. I didn't charge forward with the Broodlord for now, but I could. Do I? No, he's fine. You can shoot him if you want to. He's done his delivery unit, plus there's many other threats. So these can't fight until all other units have been told to fight. So we're down to this squad of Gene Stealers. One of them died to Overwatch, so I've got 14 left attacking the Dreadnought. They've got 4 attacks each because the unit's more than 10 or 10 or more. So that's 56 attacks, and I'm hitting on 2s. 56 dice later, I got 5 6s to wound, which are AP -4. So no saves. These are AP -1, the 5s to wound. So 4-up saves on the 5s. And he takes another wound. That's a total of 6. He was on 10. He's down to 4 wounds remaining. He survived the charge from the Gene Stealers. Now the Assault Intercessors get to hit back on 3s. And they reroll 1s because the captain. Now they're winning on 4s. And they only do 2 wounds. 2 5-up and vulnerable saves. They do cut down 2 Gene Stealers. And then the that guy, Judith, gets to fight with his 5 attacks. And he hits on 2s. He's strength 7, so he wounds on 3s. And 6s are mortal wounds in addition. So he only hits 3 times. 3 times with him. 3 times, 2 dead so far, plus another 2, 4 die. And there's 8 Genestealers left in that brood, which means they're down to 3 attacks each. So this number of attacks, still hitting on 2s though, because of the Broodlord is in range. And then 4s to wound. 6s go straight through the armor, and the Assault Intercessors have been wiped out. And then the Genestealers consolidate, and then Brother Davian, the Ancient Redemptor, gets to fight. He's sitting on 4s now though, because he's a bit poorly. Captain reroll range, 3 hits. He will smush them on 2s. He's strength Vigilian. But I do have lightning fast reflexes. How many Genestealers will dodge the blows? 2 of them dodge the blows. One of them dodges the blows. And that's the end of the fight phase. In fact, that's the end of Tyranids turn 2. The sweep through the streets has worked, because I'm going to get 1, 2, 3 points for my objectives. It was 3 points each. But I got 3 points for that, and then at the end of my turn, I get an additional 2 points for taking an objective in the enemy deployment zone, for storming their lines. And now we have a Judicia and a Dreadnought, and some Intercessors over here. Your Captain and a Poth, and that's it. There's nothing inside this Impulsor now. This push is proving dangerous. In the middle, there's still a chunk of boys inside the Land Raider Crusader ready to go forward, and the Gladiator. These tanks are relatively untouched. Their guns should be powerful, but what will the Templars do in turn 2? Here we are after the Astorians Crusades movement phase in turn 2. They have 6 command points to play with, and they've given up this backfield objective. Why are you doing that, Plant?
I feel like Templars are going to go forward for 1.
Glorious
combat.
Yes.
And actually, if I want to win the game, I need to be taking the 2-point objectives away from you
in
the next couple of turns, rather than sitting back on a 1-point objective myself. It's definitely got nothing to do with the fact that the tank's only 24 inches and then can't see anything.
No, that's right. Well, when it was 3 inches away, so it was on the objective, it wasn't in range of anything. But yeah, you're right. If you take these objectives, you win the game.
Yeah.
But if I take these objectives from you, I win the game. And the Impulsors come round. It's now got some shots up the street. The Judicia took a step backwards.
He did.
But only because your captain, whose name is?
Bastion,
said, "Stand back, brother. I've got this." Bastion comes forward. The Judicia takes a step backwards. He can slow them down with his temporal thing, or slow this unit down with his temporal thing, making sure that some of the Templars get to fight first. The Apothecary ran all the way forward and put a wound back on your Judicia. No psychic phase for the Templars. They've still got to crack through this way by moving the Crusader all the way around there. Not getting out yet. Maybe next turn. There is the Emperor's Champion in there who really likes slaying monsters. Maybe next turn. But by moving it all the way around here, they can hose murder down this street. So in the shooting phase, we're starting with the Impulsor in a rapid fire range, firing down into this unit of Genestealers. When the smoke clears, there's 4 Genestealers remaining in that squad, but there's Intercessors inside the building. They're going to try and polish them off on 3s. Rerolling 1s, because the Captain's aura range is 9 inches.
Yep.
And 3 more wounds come through. And there's 2 Genestealers left. And so Captain Bastion unpins a frag grenade and throws it at the last 2 Genestealers for 3 shots. He'll hit on 2s. And he hits all the times. He'll win on 4s. And that's 2 wounds. Will it kill the last 2? No, it doesn't. So the 2 Genestealers remaining are a problem. So splitting fire always works. The Crusader's firing all over the place. The multi-melter is in range of the Exocrine multi-melter range. The Hurricane Bolters are going to try and hose down the 2 remaining Genestealers, and the Twin Assault Cannon is going into the Broodlord because he's exposed. But we're going to start off with a multi-melter. It hits on 3s into the Exocrine. And it fires wide. Not choosing to re-roll there, because Strength 8 versus Toughness 8, plus I have a 5-up invulnerable save, plus there's Catalyst on that thing. We're now onto the 12 shots with the Hurricane Bolters, trying to polish off the last 2 Genestealers. It is 12 shots, though, that will hit on 3s. Forced to take them out. 5 wounds.
Yep.
They get taken out. And then the cannon into the Broodlord. 12 shots hitting on 3s. And at strength 6, this will be wounding on 3s. And it's AP -1, but I've got +1 because I'm in a crater. So I do have my 4-up save rather than my 5-up invulnerable save. And I failed 3 of them anyway. It's on 3 wounds left. And then there's only one thing for Ancient Davian to do, firing straight into close combat with his Storm Bolters. He's sitting on 4s, however, because he's a bit poorly now. Have you got all the dice?
Yeah, Storm Bolters.
Yes. And then re-rolling the 1s. After the re-rolls, 4 hits, forced to wound. And that's 2 wounds. Two die. The Plasma Blast Gun can't fire because it's blast. The Assault Cannon, the Gatling Cannon can fire. But hit on 5s because it's heavy. So, and there's a couple of 1s still. He's got a couple of 1s. Just 2 hits, wounding on 3s. No wounds. Now the last thing left to fire is the Gladiator Valiant. Where would you like to target? You're in a target-rich environment. Where are guns going, sir?
Indeed. So the rocket pod and both of the multi-melters are going into the Tyrannifex.
Okay.
And the quad las is going into the Exocrine.
Nice. Okay. Starting with...
we'll start with the rocket pod.
Okay.
Just because it's less likely to do anything.
D3 shots.
D3 shots for 2.
Hitting on 4s because there's venom thropes nearby. 1 hits. Strength 7, toughness 8. And it wounds. -1, I believe.
Yes.
I failed the save. D3 damage.
It's 2 damage.
Is it 2 damage now? I think they start from 14, 12 left. Okay, and then it was multi-melters into it as well.
Multi-melters into him.
4s to hit. You hit 3 times. Now it's the 4s to wound part.
Yeah, it's the tough part.
You wound twice. And you're thinking about CPing it.
Yeah, I'm going to CP that one.
Okay. You wound. Look at that. Target acquired. The Tyrannifex has got 12 wounds left. 3d6 damage coming up. And the Gladiator takes out its first target, cutting the Tyrannifex in half. It doesn't blow up. It doesn't do its death roast thing, but that's 1 target down. Now 4 las cannons are going to thump into the Exocrine on 3s. 2 of them hit. Strength 9, toughness 8, wounding on 3s. 1 of them wounds, 5 up and vulnerable save with Dermic Symbiosis, and I make the save. But we have efficient firepower from the Templars each turn, taking down 1 of the weapon beasts. There's still 3 turns to go and 2 weapon beasts remaining. So there should be 0 left by the end of the game. That's it for the shooting phase. We now have lots of charges coming on. And Captain Bastion makes the charge as well as the intercessors busting through the walls of the ruin. We're going to start with Bastion. He himself is in the assault doctrine. That's the thing that you can do once a thing, point at a unit. It's any Black Templars unit, so he pointed at himself. He has 6 attacks, hits on 2s, and because 6s explode, you'll auto wound on 6s to hit. And there isn't any 6s. But now you need 3s to wound, because it is a mastercrafted power weapon.
It is.
And he wounds 3 times. I have invulnerable saves. And I make 1, fail 2. Now we're on to the assault intercessors. Not assault intercessors, normal intercessors. I can't pay to interrupt because the Judiciars slowed down time once again. And they have 17 attacks, the intercessors, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s. And now they need to wound on 4s after the re-roll. And they cause 6 wounds, which the Gene Stealers try and dodge to one side. 2 of them dodge the blows. 6 of them have been wiped out. And now finally the Ancient Brother can take a swing. And he's going to hit on 4s. And re-roll that 1. He hits once. Can he kill 1 on a 2? Don't embarrass me now. No! No! They're crawling up his trouser leg. He can't shake him off. He can't land a blow. And when the dust settles, it looks like this. There's 4 Gene Stealers remaining. And I'm thinking, if I can take out a couple of these intercessors, mind you, he's only on 4 wounds. But if I can take out a couple of these intercessors, then you won't score that objective. Or do I actually hit the Dreadnought? I don't know. No, I've got to go to the intercessors. It's the only chance I have, really, of hurting these guys on 3s. And then I need to wound them on 4s. But 6s to wound will... No save to the armor. I get 1 6 and 1 4-up save. 1 4-up save.
1 4-up save.
I took 1 out. Maybe I didn't. There's an apothecary there. 2 6-ups to shrug.
For the sweeties.
No. But I've got 4. You've got 4. Mm-hmm. We've both got objectives secured. So then it goes to models. Yep. So you do control that.
Yes.
So you do get a point for that. I don't have morale to take because fearless is a thing. You end up getting 2 points at the end of your second turn, which means it's 5 points to the Templars and 8 points to the Tyranids, as we're both trying to storm each other's lines, but they're getting closer and closer as we go on to Tyranids, turn 3. Okay, here we are before the start of the Tyranids movement phase, because what I wanted to do was, I'm thinking about falling back with the Genestealers and having a look and see if there's any food inside this building here, but staying within 3 inches of the objective, and then killing the infantry, the objective secured stuff on the objective, right? And then I get points. That's how it works. But there's a Black Templar strat called what now?
I've completely forgotten. Tenacious Assault.
Tenacious Assault, 2 CP.
Yes.
And then you can select an infantry unit.
Yep.
And stop them falling back.
Yes.
If they're engaged with an infantry unit. But you need to roll a dice roll for it.
I do.
Okay. What do you need?
2 up.
2 up.
Don't roll a 1.
Don't roll a 1.
What could go wrong?
That's pretty cocked. I mean, look at it. Yeah. And that's really cocked as well. On the table. We'll count it on the table because it's a critical 1. I cannot fall back. The Black Templars will not back down. They will not give up that objective to the Genestealers. So I need to go away and have a good think now and come up with a better plan. So finally we come to the end of the movement phase. There are tanks right in front of the Tyranid lines that I need to deal with. But the scouting force is still trying to push round and still trying to probe to see if there's any food back there. I've burnt a CP on Metabolic Overdrive. So my Broodlord that was here moved and then moved again. He's infantry, he can go through walls, they're breachable. I'm contesting that objective. So I don't score it, but if I kill the tank, I will score it. And so I moved my weapon beast round so it can get some shots. And I also moved the Exocrine over here, and he can see it, and it can get some shots. But it will count as moving, but I'll burn a CP on Symbiotic. Something, the one that allows it to move and fire as though it's stationary. And then I've started building the screen. And while I was building the screen, I realized that I had very little left. That perhaps I may have overextended myself this way. So I'm trying to grab as many points as I can now, because it is 8 points to 5, before the Black Templars start racking up the points. I feel like this is the Tyranids' only chance to get ahead in this game. I feel like there might be a comeback from the boys in black. But before we do, we're going to do some psychic powers from my Neurothrope. The first thing it will do is a cheeky smite. There's the gladiator there. And that's a smite. Are you going to try and deny that with that power?
What are the other powers you've got?
He's got Catalyst. Smite and Catalyst. Yeah. Letting the smite go through. And that's 3 mortal wounds, which ignore on 5s. And you don't... It's down to 5 remaining. That brackets the tank. That was lucky. Right, let's do a catalyst. I don't know who I'm throwing this out on yet. And I failed the catalyst. I've got 1 CP left. Do I need catalyst? Well, it will keep him alive, and he's a problem. And if you don't deal with him, he's a serious problem. I could keep one of the screen alive on... I feel like I need catalyst. Let's try and go. But then you'll just deny it. So I'm not even going to bother. Yes, I'm going to bother. No, because then I've got... No, I'm not going to do catalyst. The dice gods say no. He's going to smite. It's going to hit your thing. This is a 6 now. Actually, it's a 5 because I've got +1 to cast. So 5 on the first one, then 5 on the, with a resonance barb. That works. Would you like to try and deny that with your 4 up? No. D3 mortal wounds on the Impulsor. Is another 3 mortal wounds on the Impulsor. Can the Black Templar pilot shrug it? No, he can't. And the Impulsor's down to 5 wounds remaining as well. Oh no, 4. 4 wounds. So then we move on to the shooting phase. I fired the Stinger Salvo from the Tron effects into the Impulsor, doing no wounds. But here's the 2d6 from the Acid Spray. This is what I might need a command point for. That one's really cocked. 7. 7 auto hits. Wounding on 4s as acid splashes over the hull. That's 4 wounds at AP -1. D3 damage a time. You block 3 of them. It's a beautiful thing. D3 damage. For 1 damage, it's down to 3 wounds left, and so the Exocrine's going to have to do it. And this is for all the points. Hitting on 3s with double shots because I count as stationary. That's terrible. Only 5 got through. I have to CP this. 6 got through. Strength 7. Toughness 7. Force to wound. Looking for more than 3 here. Please, dice gods. I get 4. 4 5-up invulnerable saves. And you make 2 of them, it's dead unless you command point reroll it, and that's worth 2 points.
It's got to happen.
It's got to happen for the Emperor. The Emperor, but does not protect. Does it blow up?
Let's find out.
No, because if it blew up, it could potentially kill the Broodlord as well. And so the Impulsor disappears under a hail of acid and plasma. A glorious long bomb double move from the Broodlord there coming in clutch. The Gene Stealers, the Hive Mind knows what it's doing. And the Hive Guard have still yet to speak. And your Gladiators on 5 wounds left. And they've spent turn after turn putting shots into this thing. I'm still firing through the trees. Will this be the turn they manage to crack that nut? Because if you lose the Gladiator as well, well, the anti-tank suddenly drops off a cliff, right?
It does.
So, forced to hit. I've got no CP left, though. 5 hits come through, but how many wounds can I do on 4? 2 wounds. 2 5-up saves. And you make them both. It thumps into the surround my armour and bounces off the surface. 1 minute. It can't thump in and bounce. It's doing one or the... One thumped in, the other javelin bounce... Yeah, like that.
Going on.
It's made in the forges. It's fine. It's made in the finest forges. It's fine. Everything's fine here. That's the end of my shooting phase. I don't have any charges. We're just down to this assault. In the fight phase, you can select the Gene Stealer unit and tell them to fight last. So the Judiciar slows time once more, and the Gene Stealers get slaughtered by the Dreadnought and by the Intercessors before they even get to fight. And the Templars secure that objective. One more time, but a Broodlord has snuck in behind them to steal one of their home objectives. That means I get an extra 5 points. That means the Tyranids are on 13 points to the Black Templars 5. But they're about to storm the Tyranid lines in Black Templars, turn 3. Here we are after the movement phase. The Black Templars finally make their move. The Impulsor, because it's injured, wanted to back up and get onto that objective because it's still in range of the Exocrine and fire all its guns in, but its motive fields have been reduced. It's taken damage. It can't get back far enough. So Planter said that objective's dead to you.
Doesn't exist.
Don't want that objective anymore. Just wants these objectives here. The Emperor's Champion is striding out on his own once the assault ramps of the Land Raider Crusader come thumping down, and then you spent a CP on Emperor's Will, which meant Black Templars can advance and charge. And I think these 65-point unit of little bugs are in a lot of trouble. So we're going to have charges this way and charges that way. And the tanks are holding the center of the field. Meanwhile, while round here, the Intercessors are staying on the objective. And your captain, he's saying, I got this. He's about to go flying in to the Tyrannofex and clear that away. Threat number 2, however, is the Broodlord. So you advanced with your apothecary to get him here. So this is now contested.
Correct.
And then it's only a 5-inch charge for the Judiciar to get, because it's head to toe, to get into combat and slay him. And if you slay him, you win the objective. But even if you get into combat and don't slay him, you'll take that objective back because you'll outnumber me on it.
Assuming he lives.
Assuming he lives. You're securing your lines back here and pressurizing the Tyranid lines as we go on to the shooting phase. So at the start of the shooting phase, your chaplain fired an Absolver bolt pistol up at the Broodlord and took a couple of wounds off of him, down to 1 wound left. And now we have the Dreadnought firing everything into the Tyrannofex. Here's the plasma cannon overcharging one more time. It has 3 shots. You're hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s, don't get any 1s. He's only got 4 wounds left. All the shots go wide. The rocket pod has 2 shots, which will hit on 4s. And one of those will hit, but it's strength 7 versus toughness 8, so it does wound. It does wound. And I make the save. Then the Stormbolter fired in and caused 3 wounds, and I save all of them, and these are 4-up saves from the Assault Cannon, and I save all of them as well. The Tyrannofex is untouched. Now we're back to the last bit of shooting in this corner. The Intercessors have been ordered to shoot up at the Broodlord, and if you're wondering what all the buzzing in the background is, I've got some workers outside, so sorry about that. It'll be coming and going for the next few minutes. But yeah, we have bolt rifles coming up into Broodlord, 3s to hit. You're in range of the captain. And after the reroll, everything hit. This is the 5s to wound bit, though. That is 3 wounds, 3 5-up invulnerable saves, or the Broodlord falls. The Broodlord falls. So the Judicar has been denied his prize. However, the Templars have cleared their lines. Now we come here to the front line. This unit advanced, but they can fire their pistol weapons with the Emperor's Will stuff. So we've got the pistols in range coming into the little bugs, pistols in range coming into little bugs, and the melter is actually going to fire at the exocrine, the combi melter part. Forced to hit though. Then the melter missed the exocrine. 4 of the little bugs here died. 2 of the little bugs here died from the squad that just came out of the Crusader. Now the Emperor's Champion unpins a grenade and chucks it at the Venom Throats. He'll hit on a 4. And he misses into this cloud, into this spore, into this miasma. And now we're on to the tanks. We have the Hurricane Bolters and the Assault Cannons trying to clear away the Venom Throats because this -1 to hit is being very annoying. The Multi-Melter is going into the Exocrine. Regardless of the order at which you fire, it'll all be -1 to hit right now because it happens at the same time. So even if you clear them away with the Hurricane Bolter and the Assault Cannon, it will still be -1 to hit. Yeah, at the same time, that's how that works. Cool. So we're going to do the Multi-Melter first of all, into the Exocrine, hitting on 4s. And they both hit, and it's wounding on 4, strength 8 versus toughness 8, and they both wound, and I have a 5-up invulnerable save and no catalyst on. And I make one of the invulnerable saves. It's D6 plus 2 at this range. How much damage can you do? Not much is the answer, unless you want to CP reroll that. That's 4 damage. So the Exocrine's down to 8 wounds left. Now we have 12 shots from the Assault Cannon and the Hurricane Bolters, but the Assault Cannon's first, raining into the Venom Throats. On 4s. Only 5 hits there. Winning on 3s. And at AP -1, I normally have a 5-up save. So I need to make 6s here. I make 1 6. They have 3 wounds each. You kill 1. One's on 2 wounds. And now 24 shots with the Hurricane Bolters on 4s. Daka, daka, daka. And they're going to be wounding on 4s. But the Assault Doctrine is currently in effect. So I do get 5-up saves. And that was terrible shooting. With 24 Hurricane Bolters, only 4 wounds came through. And I make 2 of the saves, leaving 1 Venom Thrope alive on full wounds. But it does free up the Gladiator to fire at the Exocrine, currently hitting on 4s. And if the Venom Thropes were a full unit, it'd be hitting on 5s. But now there's only 1 left. They can't shroud the big beasties. So,
Rocket Pod.
Rocket Pod. Hits.
2.
2 shots. Oh yeah. 3. Oh, that misses. Rocket Pod misses. Right, okay.
There's a trace of fire.
Yes.
So, las cannons.
Las cannons. 3. Oh, yeah. Everything hits. This thing has been doing really well for you.
It's been fantastic.
3s to wound. It's still doing well for you. I need 5-up invulnerable saves. I make 2 of them. 2d6 damage. It's got 8 wounds left. I make 1 of them, sorry. 2d6 damage has got...
Ooh,
man point. You've got 4 multi-motor shots still. It's on 5 wounds if you just leave it at that.
I'm going to CP that one.
You're going to CP that. Okay, it takes another 2 wounds. It's down to 3 wounds left. Now we have 4 shots with multi-motors hitting on 4s and wounding on 4.
That's 1 hit.
1 hit. Forced to wound.
Again, no wounds.
No wounds. The multi-motors bounce. For the first time this game, the Gladiator misses its mark. The Exocrine's on 3 wounds left, which means the Emperor's Champion's quite happy. He's in a target-rich environment. We did a grenade over here from your captain as well, but that's the end of the shooting phase. We're going to have some charges. Captain and Dreadnought into Tyrannofex, and I cannot overwatch. We've got a charge here with this Crusader squad. They're automatically in. But where is your Emperor's Champion going?
He's going into the big bug.
Into the big bug. And at the end of the charge phase, the Emperor's Champion makes a charge into his foe. The Black Templars are down here with the little bugs. And we have a Dreadnought and a Captain taking on a Tyrannofex. Starting with the Dreadnought. 5 attacks hitting on 4s. And rerolling the 1s because he is core. And he manages to get 4 hits through. Strength 14, toughness 8. Winning on 3s though. All of the wounds came through. This bug has dermic symbiosis. It does have a 5-up invulnerable save. And it makes 2 of them. because that's D3 plus 3 damage each time. It's got 14 wounds. You're not going to kill it. Maybe the captain can do the coup de grace. So that's 6, 10 damage in total. It's got 4 wounds left. Ready for your captain to take the glory. What's his name again?
Bastion.
Bastion. Can Bastion take the glory? 4 wounds to get through. 6 attacks on the charge. Hitting on 2s. He lands every single blow.
Oh, the auto wounds.
They auto wound. They auto wound. 5s to wound with the other stuff. He gets loads of wounds. 4 wounds. Each of these 2 and 2 damage. I've got 4 wounds remaining. So I need to make basically 3 5s. Oh, that's so close. Don't make enough. The weapon beast gets taken out by the captain of the Black Templars. And he doesn't even explode in range. He just gets cut limb from limb. Then there's a consolidation. Then we come back over to this corner with the Crusader squad with a bajillion attacks, hitting on 3s and killing on 3s. It'll go straight through my armor. And it was academic, really. Another day in the office for the Black Templars. They got through the Termagants really easily without breaking sweat. Now, the Emperor's Champion versus an Exocrine. He hits on 2s. And you rolled 2 1s.
No auto
6s would have auto wounded. He's strength
7.
with the black sword.
With the black sword.
But against characters, it would be strength 8.
Against characters, it would be strength 8, yes.
Strength 8. I'm toughness 8. Does he get reroll wounds?
It does get reroll
wounds. All right. Okay. 5s to wound. 2 wounds.
Rerolling all wounds.
Any more wounds? 3 wounds.
AP minus 4.
Whoa. 5 up, dermic symbiosis. 1 more time. I fail every single one. It's got 3 wounds left. The Emperor's Champion slays the Exocrine, who does not blow up either. Just cuts him limb from limb as well. Then the Emperor's Champion consolidates, and that's the end of turn 3 for the Templars. This is all that's left in my army. A Venom Thrope, a Neurothrope, some Bugs, and some Hive Guard. Camping on these 2 objectives here, they have cut a swathe through the splinter of High Fleet Kraken and are about to descend onto the last 2 objectives. They get 1, 2, 3, 4 points for the objectives at the end of turn 3, making it 13 points to 9. It's only 4 points in it as we head to turn 4. I've got 13 points. The Black Templars have got 9 points. I need to try and clear my lines with the little assets I have left. So my Neurothrope will try and smite the Emperor's Champion. And I smite you, sir.
I will try and deny with the Abhor the Witch.
Abhor the Witch, 4+. It hasn't worked so far, and it doesn't work now. And he takes 3 mortal wounds, which he can shrug on 5s and 6s. He shrugs 2 of them. He is the Emperor. Yes, he does, sometimes. Next up, Catalyst on the Little Bugs. Try and keep my objective secured unit alive. That works. They now have a shrug. And then the Hive Guard need to try and kill as many of these as possible. The Crusaders will be hit on 3s and wounded on 2s. And that's 5 wounds. 5 up saves. They save 3 of them. And the first one does. 3 damage and 3 damage. And I only managed to take out 2. Then the little bugs will unload everything they can into them. Then they only managed to put 1 wound on the Crusader squad. And that is the end of my turn. I'm on 2 objectives. It's 15 points to 9. As we go on to Black Templars, turn 4. Then in the Black Templars movement phase, they move in for the kill. Everything pouring forward to this objective here. Captain Bastion ran forward to take over this objective, storming the Tyranid lines, and the Templars holding secure on the 2 objectives. And the Gladiator finally took 1 step back. Advanced backwards. It was out of range with most of its guns anyway. So control all of the objectives along your deployment zone. And then we have a Land Raider Crusader, an Emperor's Champion, everything firing everything down into the remaining swarm on this objectives. Then we had 36 shots coming in from the Land Raider. And it cleared away every single one of the little bugs here. And the multi-melter and the other shots went out into the Venom Thrope. You didn't even shoot at the Neurothrope and killed the Venom Thrope. All I have left is the Hive Guard and my Neurothrope. And the reason why you didn't shoot at him, is because the Emperor's champion is like, stand back, lads. I got this. And he swings the black sword, hitting on 2s. It is called the Black Sword, right?
It is called the Black Sword.
It was once held by
Sigismund himself.
Sigismund himself, chained to his wrist. In fact, it's chained to this guy's wrist. Okay, so 4 hits. He's wounding on...
1 auto wound.
1 auto wound. He wounds on 2s and rerolls all wounds because it's a character. Okay, so that many wounds. 4 wounds. I have invulnerable saves to make. And I fail one of them. How much damage?
2.
It's still on 3 wounds left. Then it headbutts him back. And it hits you. And it wounds you. Have you got 2-up save or a 3-up save?
2-up save.
Don't embarrass yourself. No, he's fine. He swings, dodges the blow. The neurothroat stays alive, but you're controlling 2, 4 points for the objectives here. Plus 1, 2, 3. That is 7 points back on the objectives. That makes it 16 points to 15 in favour of the Templars. They are finally in the lead by 1 point at the end of turn 4. And they've almost eradicated the Tyranids entirely from this sector at the end of turn 4. There's nothing I can do in turn 5 to win this game, so I must concede and say this is the way the world ends. The Xenos have been purged from this sector. This splinter of Highfleet Kraken has been broken, and the remaining bioforms flee back into the hills and the wastes of planet Gorgon. So the Black Templars have arrived in the Gehenna System. The Artorian Crusade are here, and they've announced their presence with a bang. In the end, a comfortable victory, regardless of the pressure that I threw up here. It was a comfortable victory. They cut through a Swarm Lord. They cut through a Brood Lord. Your captain took down a Tyrannifex in close combat. So the rest of the Gehenna System may be on fire. But on this planet, Gehenna stands. So I don't know what more to say, really. I keep tripping over words and keep refilming.
It's all one take.
No, I thought I was doing quite well until I wasn't. And look, you've got a Land Raider left, a Gladiator left. You've got a lot of assets left on the table.
Yeah.
How was it for you, honey?
Yeah. Scary at first, but once you kind of get into the swing of things and get warmed up, it's all plain sailing from there.
I mean, I tried to break on through the other side.
You did.
I thought I did a cheeky thing with the Broodlord as well.
It was very scary. I was very, very worried.
The Judicia, I like him in this Black Templars list because you want to get in close combat anyway, right?
Yeah.
So being able to point at something and say, you fight last no matter what, that was very good.
I think it was Stephen Box who said everyone should have something like that in their army.
I think he did say that, didn't he? And then this guy with all the buffs for Black Templars.
Yeah.
He was good.
I think for me, you don't need a smash captain.
Right.
Sometimes it's better to have an HQ unit that makes everybody else better rather than just himself. Because obviously, if I lose him, then that's a lot of damage that goes out. But actually, making everybody else better means that the target priority has to go on to those other things and not just him. And
that's what chaplains do.
Yes.
That's what chaplains should do. They should be, and a captain as well, they should be. Well, what I mean by chaplains is they make everyone else around them better.
Yeah. And
as soon as you lost the chaplain there was a chunk of your armour, a bit of your tool, a tool from your toolbox fell out of your toolbox.
Yeah, I lost the 10mm socket somewhere.
Yeah, but you still had a few Allen keys to work the problem. And you did work the problem. I think it was very interesting playing on this battle grid as well. There was a bit of a open firing plane in the middle. But we did have some minuses to shoot through. This did prove very problematic when we were moving around, trying to get in the right direction here or there. You said you wanted to play a narrative game and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself to the Gehenna System and to the Deployment Zone team. So they're going to be seeing this now, and they're going to, in the Discord, you're like the saviour of Gorgon. There's quite a few other little splinters that have been cut. So what happens in a narrative is that Cicatrix Maledictum went ripping right outside the Gehenna System, and it spilled loads of little splinters of Hive Fleets here or there across the thing. There's some heretics to purge as well. There's not just Tyranids in the Gehenna System, you know.
Everybody falls to a chainsaw.
Everyone falls to... They might need you on a Gehenna Prime later. But that was good. What What are you adding to your Black Templars force? What do you
So going forward,
next models and things.
Next models are probably going to be some Terminators, because Terminators are really cool.
Terminators are cool.
As well as that, I'm looking at the new Imperial Fist Praetor.
Right, okay.
So the one in Terminator armor,
yeah.
And I'm hoping that I can make myself a pseudo High Marshal, so a Chapter Master equivalent out of that, because it looks absolutely epic.
Oh, so getting the pretty stuff.
Yeah, if things go really wrong, they'll bring in the big boss.
Yeah. The Blade Guard in your list, they're
okay.
They're okay.
They're a good sort of, like you said with the Chaplain, they're a toolbox unit. It's one facet of the list that maybe in my last few games it's underperformed a little, but actually they stall things up. They've got storm shields, they can put out the damage, and they're just a good holding unit really to get other things in to maybe kill.
I guess as well in this particular list they're a good body unit for the Judicia.
Yes,
they're keeping him alive, and that nice strat that you popped, which is they can pile in.
Yes, so you can devout push.
Yeah, so you move the impulsor a long way. Then you disembark, then you move your 3 inches, and normally you can't charge, you shoot. But devout push allows you to, as that's a nice one.
It's a good little trick to have.
It's a good little trick to have. Other Space Marines can't do that.
No, they can't.
It's a thing that only Black Templars can do. Happy wargaming.
Gehenna stands.
Well, no, do it again.
Gehenna stands.
With more oomph.
Gehenna stands.
Nice.